joining us here from Fox Sports, and whose awesome gym, unbreakable performance, is getting me ready for my run, which will air on NFL Network with the Run Rich Run campaign on behalf of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital 2 weeks from today. Jay Glazer. How are you, Glaze?
My dude, how are you, brother?
How was that intro? Did I cover it all?
I love that. It was fantastic. All that. You know what I appreciated? I appreciated AB sending out all those tweets, Flacco getting traded, Kyler Murray committing to the NFL, just so you could intro me like that.
And that I didn't even cover, I guess, a third of it or two-thirds of it, if you want to be, I guess, generous. Let's get to the football aspect of it.
The NFL is the greatest reality show in the world.
It is.
There is no off season. The cameras don't stop suddenly rolling on all the drama that goes on. That's why you and I, people like us, we love it. We can't get enough. And even though the off season for us, it's just in the NFL is, people still ask me, you're doing so much stuff, and I still go to Combine and Pro Bowl, sometimes Senior Bowl and training camp, and they're like, hey, how come you're still going around in this? I'm like, this is like this storyline, this drama, becomes part of your blood. They're your family. They're your friends and family over the last, quarter of a century of our lives.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
Well, I know you got The Athletic, and you got Bellator, and you got, again, merging vets and players, and you got Unbreakable Performance, but I guess the bread and butter and all this stuff is what you're talking about with you is the NFL information. What can you tell us about the relationship between the Giants and Odell Beckham Jr. as we currently sit here a couple weeks before the new league year? Jay?
Well, look, I'm a little surprised that there was such a backlash when I put it out. It was almost like, John Mara never said what he said last year. It was almost like they never had friction last year. It was almost like, there certainly was. And, I was asked for a bold prediction on The Athletic. I said, I think Odell Beckham will get traded this offseason. And, I wasn't reporting it would happen, but I looked at my little crystal ball, which is my own bald head, and said, I could see this happening. Nice. And look, there's a couple reasons. I know people looking and go, oh, there's so much dead money. Look, I think when they brought in Pat Shermer last year, you got Saquon Barkley, and I was guilty of this also. We thought the Giants were, they're just a couple pieces away. They brought in Solder, and that's not the case. There's a reason why they had the second pick of the draft. And now you look at it, they have more holes going into this year than they did last year. Or maybe now we know what those holes really are. And you look around, you look and you say, what kind of bargaining chip are they going to have here? Really, the only thing is Odell. They need help. They need a quarterback. They need offensive linemen. They need pass rushers. They need linebackers. They need secondary. The only thing they have really is Odell. And last year, they thought about doing it. Last year, there's teams that were talking to him about trading him. At the trade deadline, teams called them. And, I think this year, if they're smart about it, they do look at it and they say, this is what we can get some value for to help build up our picks. But also, again, the hate that happened, don't forget about his interview with Lil Wayne last year. Like, this has not been the perfect marriage. Odell and the Giants have not been a sunny, drama-free, they've needed some marriage counseling the last couple of years.
Well, I guess then, Antonio Brown and the Steelers, their marriage counseling is broken down, and they appear to be headed for divorce. I'm going to put the tweet that Antonio Brown sent out. He sent out a whole bunch of tweets yesterday saying, hey, I've got 10 questions. You give me 10 questions, I'll give you the straight truth. And there was a tweet that was sent out in regards to what's going on with you and Big Ben. And he said Ben has an owner's mentality to call out players. In addition to all of that, went ahead and said that there was a lack of respect from. So where does this all go from here with him tweeting out a video, Jay, saying I'm out with 3 years left on his contract? How do you see this playing out?
So here's what AB needs to understand. These teams, they really judge you circus versus skill, right? So we all know about AB's skill. It's ridiculous. It's somewhat unmatched. But in order for AB to get the value that he wants, he has to look at circus versus skill, and he is just building his circus up. He needs to stop doing all this. He needs to bring the circus down. He needs to look at it and say, all right, I want every team out there to look at me just upon my skill to drive up my bargaining power. But because there's a circus that now surrounds it, even if there's one team that says, you know what, we don't want to deal with that circus, we're pulling out of it, that's one team too many. If I'm the player, I have to look and go, it's one team too many. I don't want that. I want to make sure I got 31 other teams. They're all vying for my love here, so that love could turn into some more green.
So does this, which happens first then, I guess? Odell and Antonio Brown? I mean, we're talking about.
I don't know.
What do you think? I mean, crystal ball
again,
for me. How are you thinking?
I don't know for sure Odell will happen. I predict, I think, go back to that a little bit. It's pretty funny because, my tweets, which, Rich, as you know, the only time I'm not dropping F-bombs is pretty much when the red light's on, right? That's just how I talk. It's a Jersey thing. But I got the same kind of hate that I did a few years ago when I came out on Fox NFL Sunday and I said Jim Harbaugh will not be back as head coach of the 49ers, even if they win the Super Bowl. And I got so much hate, like I'm trying to get the dude fired. I'm not the owner of the team. I'm not trying to get anybody fired. And I'm not the owner of the Giants. I'm not trying to get Odell traded. Odell last year was trying to get Odell traded. Odell last year was the one who did the interview with Lil Wayne and had that issue. Not me. And it was Jim Harbaugh who had the falling out with people inside that building. All I'm doing is putting out information that I kind of gather and glean, and you guys are shooting a messenger. But when you guys shoot the messenger in a way that y'all did, I'm not just going to sit there and take it. I think just because you're in the public eye doesn't mean you have to sit there and let people just trash you, your mom, your kid's mom, your mom's kid, all that. It's just, it doesn't have to happen that way.
Well, I think
that people kind of get a little carried away with, the hate and anger. Dude, we're just in sports.
No, I know that. And I'd put that
off when your kid comes home with a D on his report card? No.
I'd put that tweet up right now, but it would read like one of those Mueller reports, totally redacted right now. It would just be just dark lines across the screen because we couldn't show what you were saying. But the reason why I ask again is just, obviously the new league year's coming up, and that's usually when these things come up and pop. And it sure looks like, obviously Odell and the Giants could try and continue counseling and keep going. But it looks like the Browns and, obviously Antonio Brown and the Steelers is over. Certainly since he was liking some tweet.
I don't know. And here's the thing about AB, though. But again, the circus part. If enough teams say, we don't want the circus, and if AB wants a new contract, which is what it seems like, and a team says, because that's the whole thing. If you trade Odell, you don't have to give him a new contract. The team's getting him with the contract, bam. With AB, if he wants a new contract, then a team now has to value, okay, do we want to give up picks plus do a whole new contract for him? There's a lot there. They got to work together on that. That's a lot. And, I don't know the answer to that question because the Steelers certainly aren't going to say, okay, let's just get rid of him for a 4. They're not going to do that. Especially, look, Amari Cooper, he was a 1. Panned out well. Both those players are viewed as better than Amari Cooper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you're going to go suddenly look to a team and say, okay, we want a 1+, and you're going to have to give a new contract for somebody who's just trashing our team. I think other teams are going to look at it and go, nah, you're just trying to unload him. It's like he's taking away his leverage because every other team is going to look at it and say, you guys just don't want him back anyway. Just give him to us for a 3, and we'll take him off your hands. I think that's the strategy other teams are going to use. I know one team in particular has been, scared off a little bit by a team that was interested has been scared off by, all the noise right now.
Do you want to tell me which conference that team's in, Jay?
No, I can't do that.
It's my job to ask that. So looking over the steering wheel, Jay, before we move on to the run here for a second, which Pennsylvania star do you think is most likely to get tagged, Foles or Le'Veon Bell? How do you see either of those things playing out? I
don't understand the Le'Veon Bell part of it, and here's why. If they want to try and transition tag him, let's say, okay, and let's say nobody's gonna suddenly trade with them because let's say you tag him, you then need the cooperation, the Steelers will, of the player and the agent to try and get a deal worked out with a new team and then trade him. I don't see them cooperating at all. Number one. Number two, okay, if they transition him, the smart thing would be for another team to come up with a deal that is just like kind of like what the Vikings did with the Seahawks, and you can't use poison pill, but something along the lines, for that Steve Hutchinson deal,
right.
Something where they know the Steelers can't match. If a team does that, Steelers don't match, Steelers don't get any compensation. If the Steelers just let them go via free agency, they get probably a third-round pick back as compensation. So I don't really understand at all the thought process of transition tagging them and then trying to trade him because another team who's going to want him is just really going to work out a deal that they know the Steelers will not financially match. Doesn't really make any sense to me at all that would be their strategy unless ego's getting in the way. But I don't see I don't get that.
And Foles, you think they franchise tag him and figure out how to trade him, or do you think
I think they're going to figure something out there. I would think so because I think they got to judge what the market will be. But I think it'd be smart for them.
Okay. All right, Glaze. The Rich Eisen Run, Rich, Run campaign for St. Jude is officially totally big time underway. You can go to NFL.com/Run, Rich, Run to donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Every dollar matters. And I got to tell you, when you came on a few months ago and offered for me to come work out at Unbreakable Performance here in Los Angeles, I jumped at the chance, and I feel pretty good. I mean, do you want to lay it out there what you think
First of all,
the chances are in 2 weeks?
Your sexiness quotient has gone through the ceiling. Yes or no? Everybody in your studio, be honest.
Do you want to chime in on that, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
100%.
I'm staring. I'm staring at them right now, Jay. So they have to say that in that response. But
no, you know what? Here's a couple things. One, but by the way, St. Jude. We went down there for Fox NFL Sunday a few years ago, and oh my God, man! The way they make it comfortable for those families and those children, and the joy they give these kids while they're going through the hardest thing in the world. Oh, when you came to me and said this, I'm like, it's St. Jude. I'm all in. They are so incredible at what they do. They are, God bless them. They're a walking blessing.
I agree.
And so I've always loved what you've done, man. The place is amazing. But you have worked your butt off, dude. And the fact that, look, we've had a lot of fun. When we try and do it Unbreakable, we try to make it, this community, this family, and, so you want to come in there every day and work out. You want to, make sure you come in and bust your butt because you can't wait to see your family and your friends. And you have, the fact of the Super Bowl, you already broke sub-6, which was
correct.
Our goal for you, right?
Yep.
And now we can't have Usain Bolt always running against you. But the fact that we already did that, It shows the work that you have put in. We're very proud of you.
Thanks, man.
You busted your butt. You've had this whole community behind you. And I started telling our coaches the other day, hey, man, I want to push this guy to a sub 5.7.
You know what? I'm.
What'd you say, Jay?
I don't. It's right. I know exactly. I'm wondering if that's possible. But I'm never going to put anything. It was great the other day, guys. I'm working out at Glazer's gym, going through the workout, which is just. I mean, it really is all about being unbreakable. And somebody went through the workout, couldn't make it, didn't make it through the workout. We were seeing that individual's breakfast, actually. And it was lunchtime. And it was funny. I felt like the end of Officer and Gentleman, like I was Mayo'd riding off on the motorcycle, because I made it right through everything, and I kind of looked at the new charges that were coming in. It was this person's first time at Unbreakable.
I've never seen that movie.
Are you serious?
You're aging yourself.
Oh, my gosh. I guess I am dating myself. But at any rate, the workouts there are great, Jay, and I look forward to doing it. And you're sending?
Well, tell me you told it, because this is what I tell Rich, I tell everybody, I tell especially our fighters, and I use it for our football players. Don't ever show that you're tired, ever. I don't want to see hands on our hips. You could see fatigue on somebody. The moment our fighters see somebody the slightest bit tired, we forget that we're tired. We sharpen our weapons. And that's the point. We push our breaking point and push our breaking point and push our breaking point. So then you can look back and go, oh, man, I'm not tired. Oh, that stuff that I do with these guys, that's exhausting. And you're able to kind of come back to life. And it's just, you can play these little mental games with yourself. And part of it, what, when you're a kid and you're laying down, you're exhausted, you just did something, you're so tired, and all of a sudden your friend or your brother comes up and twangs you, and you jump up and run after him, all of a sudden you forget that you're tired, right? So you can control it with the 4 inches between your ears and what's behind your rib cage, and that's what we coach here and teach here more than anything. What's behind the rib cage and between the ears?
So great.
And Rich got it, and I think you know the other day I told you even when you're running, you know. Don't cruise through that finish line. Go after that finish line. Swing away. Throw to go, man. Just, you know, we want knockouts in our place. And I think that's where you turn around and started coaching that other guy who's thrown up it.
That's right. It was great. Jay, I love you. I know you're jumping off of a vacation to call in, so we'll chat next week.
Love you guys. Proud of you, buddy.
Right back at you. That's Jay Glazer.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.